Many of you have asked me for an update on HIMS and HERS Health. The stock is up 28% over the last few days. Massive, massive move. But this is by far one of the craziest stocks I've ever owned. It goes up like crazy and it goes down. Every time the stock goes down, people find all kind of reasons to sell it. Maybe the CEO said something or maybe whatever. And you could say I've been one of the most consistent people on YouTube in terms of talking about HIMS when it goes up and when it goes down, because I've been in the stock from $7 per share in 2023, and I buy stocks for a reason with a certain thesis. If this thesis is no longer the same, then I sell the stock, and for HIMS, my thesis remains the same, so I'm still holding the company. Now, for the latest news around peptide, it's really bullish because they removed peptides from category 2, which will encourage peptide innovation. And based on my understanding, HIMS is the only publicly traded telehealth company that actually owns a peptide facility. They were way ahead of the crowd, and they acquired the peptide facility on February 21st of 2025, and they expect to use it to explore exciting advances in peptide innovation, such as preventative health, metabolic optimization, cognitive performance, recovery science, biological resistance, and many different things that could be implemented within peptide technology. And there was a recent interview with the CEO, and he said something really funny. He said whenever the company was public, they were selling a lot of like Viagra and other kind of things. So they were calling him the Viagra company, And then recently they've been calling it a weight loss company. And maybe within 1 to 2 years from now, they're going to call it a peptide company. So whatever the company is selling the most, they kind of label the company as this one product instead of looking at what actually HIMS is selling, which is hair loss, sexual health, mental health, and weight loss also. And there's so many different things. It's not just a one product kind of company. But speaking about weight loss, the company has a NVO pill right now at $149 a month. But it's not really at $149. This is $149 for the pill. But then there's another like $150 health-related subscription, which I'm personally not a big fan of because it's going to make the company less competitive. But again, the $150 will be like a membership where you get access 24/7. I believe they also give you access to labs and they cross-sell you a lot of products within the HIMS and HERS ecosystem. So I'm not sure how that's going to play out, but it seems to be successful so far because the CEO said that they expect or they're on track to deliver more than 100,000 prescriptions of the Wegovy product every month. So the $150 membership fee on top of the Wegovy pill seems to be okay with most people. They want to pay it, and maybe it helps them get more access to healthcare. And it also helps him cross-sell them many different things that they're suffering with. And I've said it many times before that HIMS will not make a lot of money on this pill, but that should be a marketing funnel to cross-sell those people many different products. This is what RO Health, Roman Health did. They increased their market share by a lot from about, I believe it was here around 11%, and they took it all the way up to 20% out of nowhere. HIMS still has a 52% market share, but RO Health has been expanding because they had access to the Wegovy pill, which everyone wanted. Now, HIMS has access to the Wegovy pill, and it's really transforming the company. If you look at the HERS business, which the HERS business has taken off in a major way on the App Store, after they launched the pill, it's just the growth has been crazy. It has overtaken HIMS in terms of growth. And if you look at the ranking, HERS is now number 5 on the App Store, sitting even ahead of RO Health and ahead of the HIMS business for men. So the women's business has taken off in a major way whenever they announce the Wegovy pill. And you also have to take into consideration that the HERS pill or the HERS business hasn't really existed a few years ago. I remember HIMS launching it, I believe it was in like 2022, 2023, and people said it wasn't going to be successful. But again, it shows you that the company has done multiple things, and people said it was going to be successful, and most of them ended up being a success. Now, HIMS is a much more diversified company. They have 2.5 million subscribers in the United States. They have 1.3, about another like 2.5 million in Europe. Total now they have 4.5 million subscribers from all around the world. It has massively diversified their total addressable market 280 million United States, 200 million in Europe, Australia 20 million, Japan 100 million plus. Again, it's a much more diversified company. So if there's something that affects the company in the United States, they still have the EU business and Australia business and other businesses, or if something happens there, they have the US business. So they're taking it globally. And I really love what HIMS and HERS has done. I believe those international markets should massively increase the membership growth of HIMS. So the number of subscribers have grown from like 555,000 to about 2.5 million in the United States since 2021. It's been pretty consistent. And I would expect that to continue with the international expansion. Now, talking about the short interest has finally started to go down. And this is really good, guys, because whenever a company is shorted, it doesn't always mean that the shorts are dumb and they're missing something. A lot of them could actually not be missing something, and they're shorting this specific stock for a reason. Maybe because it's overvalued, but it's mostly due to some, related maybe to their policy, something due to the healthcare kind of policies, or something to do with the company, something that's wrong with the company. This is why most short sellers short a stock, especially if it's a 44% short interest, like what HIMS had. Well, now it's down to 35%. 35% is still high, but again, as the lower short interest goes, the better it is, which pretty much telling you that less and less people are seeing a reason to short HIMS, especially after the partnership of NVO. So for me, it's not much about a short squeeze and the stock's gonna go up to the moon. People love saying those things on YouTube. But does that really change the fundamentals of the company? Does it change the reason why I bought the company? It doesn't really change it. Unless the stock goes up 1,000% and they issue stock at $400, and then they use the cash to do something, I'm like, okay, that was good. But most cases, short interest, short squeeze is mostly like a waste of time because it doesn't really affect like the fundamentals of the company. Maybe it gives you an opportunity to sell, but that's not why I'm investing in HIMS and HERS Health. Now for the valuation, despite the recent run up, HIMS is still trading at almost 1.8 times sales. 1.8 times sales for a company growing 30, 40, 50% revenues with the international business, having the Wegovy pill, expanding into labs, launching new things, peptides. That's really cheap, guys. For any kind of a growth / speculative growth investment, 1.8 times is really cheap. Now, if you look at the company's guidance, they're still guiding 6.5 billion by 2030, and this is at least 6.5 billion by 2030. So I use some assumptions of 3 times sales, 5 times sales, and 10 times sales. If HIMS trades at 3 times sales, which is like, in my opinion, my worst case scenario, if you compare it to any growth stock in the market, no growth company with those metrics is trading under 3 times sales. Now, if it trades at 3 times sales, this is 250% on the upside. If it trades at 5 times sales, this is almost 490% on the upside. If it trades at 10 times sales, this is 1,080% on the upside. Now, 10 times sales might be like the most optimistic case scenario. If it was me, I would stick between 3 to 5 times sales. So I would see between 250 to 500% on the upside potentially over the next 4 to 5 years if the company delivers on those promises in terms of revenue growth, especially with the recent acquisitions and everything that's happening. I would not be surprised if they potentially exceed 6.5 billion. So for me, I still own the company. I'm really excited to see what happens on the next earnings report. I'm going to be watching for subscriber growth, watching for average order per subscriber, which has also been increasing, which is a really good sign of healthiness of cross-selling the products within the HIMS ecosystem. I'm also watching for any guidance around labs because labs would make it very sticky. And I'm holding it. It's a small percentage of my portfolio, I told you guys. Been in it since 2023, and I still own the stock, and I'm in it for the long term. As long as the CEO doesn't do anything crazy, as long as nothing happened with my thesis, I'm gonna still be holding the stock, despite what the CEO tweets or whatever happened that people like to focus on. I'm still in the company, and I plan to hold it as long as the thesis remains intact. So that's my opinion on HIMS and HERS. Hope you enjoyed it. It was not financial advice. If you did enjoy it, please press the like button and maybe consider subscribing. So I'll talk to you in another video.